With all the madness flying fast and furious in every direction during week one of the Trump regime, like how I slipped that in there, regime, how they always use regime to mean not a legitimate government. Subtle. I'm sure you picked up the subtlety of that. So after week one of the Trump regime, one thing that I think deserves more attention, and I wrote about this for the Center for Media and Democracy. To me, this is a big deal, and that is the appointment of a Koch Brothers campaign money bagman to a critical post in the Trump White House. Now, the guy I'm talking about is named Mark Short, and his last big job was as CEO of something called, I believe it was Freedom Partners Chamber of Congress. Now, Freedom Partners is an organization that doled out mega bucks to organizations that were promoting all the horrible right-wing causes that the Koch brothers promote, including their own agenda of destroying the environment through fossil fuel and all of that. So he was the bag man for the Koch brothers' billions. That's how he is known to Republican politicians all across the country. Then he took some time off, and Mark Short helped the campaign of Marco Rubio. You may remember Marco Rubio from the Republican primary campaign. You remember Marco sweats a lot. He's one of the guys that, of course, one of the 16 that lost to Donald Trump. Now, the Koch brothers, so we were told, were adamantly opposed to the idea of a Trump presidency. They didn't know where the guy stood on the deep pocket issues that meant a lot to them, which is really all that means anything to them, and except their fanatical brand of right-wing anti-government rhetoric. I guess that, to be fair, that means something to them too. Now, so they didn't like Trump because he's kind of a wild card to them. So they liked Marco. They were willing to overlook whatever defects in order to support him to stop Trump. In fact, Mark Short, of all people, went to one of the Koch brothers and made a big pitch for stopping Trump. He wanted to create a campaign fund when it became clear that Trump had the momentum and was the likely Republican nominee. He went to the guys with a big pitch, according to reports, to say, to Charles Koch in particular, to say, let's put together a fund to stop this guy before it's too late. But the Koch brothers said, nah, not interested. I think at that point they were doing whatever they needed to do, whether it was conversations or whatever, to make their accommodation with Donald Trump. So they turned Mark Short down. And Mark Short, the Koch brothers' bagman for political campaigns, has a new job. His new job is as Director of Legislative Affairs for the Trump White House. Now, according to the White House website, that office that Mark Short will run, quote, serves as the president's primary liaison to the United States Congress and is responsible for advancing the president's agenda on Capitol Hill, end quote. Now, think about that for a second. The guy who's been handing out campaign cash for the Koch brothers and all their billionaire pals, the guy who, greases your palm when it comes time to raise money for your campaign, well, now he's got a new job. He comes to your office on Capitol Hill and he says, this is how we want you to vote. Now, this is Pavlovian response 101 stuff. They are already trained to sit up and beg when Mark Short or anyone else who's worked for the Koch brothers comes, because they know that a treat comes at the end. If you do what you're told, if you roll over a bag or whatever trick they want you to pull, vote to destroy the environment, vote to suppress women, vote to prevent aid to poor people, on and on and on, vote to suppress the vote for constituencies you don't like, you will get the little treat come campaign fundraising time. Now, this is the guy who is Donald Trump's representative on Capitol Hill. All that talk we've heard about a divided Republican Party, it looks like they're coming together against the American people.